It's Playing Off the City, your sports news every Friday.
Welcome to Playing Off the City. Thanks for tuning in on this last Friday of November. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. It's your host, Jake.
And Bakari, and today we'll be covering your biggest stories from the NFL, NBA, college football, and you guessed it, soccer. Let's get it.
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Playing Off the City. No caps and no space. Jumping right into our first topic. We're talking about the Lions. They dropped to 4-7 after losing to the Texans on Thanksgiving.
I'm tired of the Lions. I'm tired
Bakari,
of them.
what's your thoughts, man? How you feeling?
I'm glad that I was at work, so I didn't have to stay and watch this game. Because if I was at home, I would have had to stay home and watch it. And it was disappointing.
To say the least.
Just a disappointment. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it was a bad game. In the first quarter, or even the first quarter and early into the second quarter, I think we had 3 turnovers. There was a pick 6 and 2 fumbles. So definitely not the way we wanted to start the game. And, we just didn't look good at all. So the Texans, they're a decent team, but we should have beat them, so...
Yeah, I think they had a worse record than us.
Yeah, they were 3-7 going in, and we were 4-6.
Now we got the same record, but it's just disappointing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of wish we could actually, win games. But I think that a game like that really just shows you we got to get rid of this coach. We got to try to start fresh again.
Yeah, I'd agree. After losing 4 out of our last 5 games, it really makes you question the future of our head coach, Matt Patricia. Ever since stepping up as head coach, coming from New England, coaching with Belichick, obviously. So I was optimistic when he first signed with us because I thought, he coached he coached with the Patriots. He comes from a winning culture, so you hope that maybe he can build on that, but apparently he hasn't gotten comfortable yet. So what's your thoughts?
I don't think he ever will.
You think he's gonna get dropped soon?
Yeah, I think he's gonna get the big boot. I don't know when, but I don't even think it's I don't know when exactly, but I don't think he has much time left. I don't even know why he's still here. I mean, I heard last year the Fords were saying they had high expectations for this season and what we were gonna do. And we're playing very below those expectations, and he's still here.
Yeah. So you think it's more like not like if it's gonna happen, like just when they're gonna get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't think the future looks very bright for Patricia in Detroit. But and speaking of the Lions, it seems like the playoffs are 2 out of reach right now.
For sure.
So it's kind of disappointing. You like to see the Lions in the playoffs. And the weird thing is since we have 4 wins, we're put in a weird situation where next year we won't be able to get a great draft pick. So that also doesn't help with our future. So I don't know. This hasn't been the most successful season. It's kind of not a shocker to the Lions fans, but
yeah, I mean, we try to stay optimistic, but you gotta look at reality sometimes and realize we're not doing anything crazy. Not right now.
Who knows? Hopefully we can get a new coach and that can bring a culture change. But as of right now,
like the only thing we always look forward to is new coaches.
Yeah, new beginnings.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully we figure something out.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, and moving on to our next topic, we're talking about the Ravens and the Steelers. This is a big matchup. The Ravens are 6-4, and the Steelers are 10-0, undefeated. So the game was supposed to be on Thanksgiving, postponed due to coronavirus, and they're still not sure if they're gonna play. It's scheduled for Sunday at 1:15. So we're just gonna play the if game. If they play, who do you think wins?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I heard that Lamar is out with COVID.
Yeah.
So if he's out, the Steelers are going 11-0 in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, he's like one of the integral pieces in why they win games and how they win them. So I
Yeah,
think that if he's not here, who's their backup quarterback? Like RG3 or something? I'm not
I think
exactly
so. It's
sure.
not a great option. Not a
So
great option.
it definitely won't be easy coming up against a team that's 10-0, that's undefeated, that's playing really well this season without your starting quarterback. I don't know. I don't think that they'll win, but we've seen many surprises.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. I think the Steelers are probably going to win this one for sure. I think they're the more talented team. Even if the Ravens had Lamar Jackson, I feel like this season teams are starting to figure out their style of play more. You saw it in the playoffs last year, even after they lost in the first round to
I
the
think the
Titans.
Titans, yeah.
So clearly they're not doing some they're doing isn't right.
Yeah.
It seems like that RPO style of offense just isn't working for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate, but
Yeah.
because it's entertaining to watch Lamar, but it just seems like a lot of teams kind of like can see through it now, like now more than they did in the past. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how it works out long term because I feel like making it to the playoffs isn't too difficult for the Ravens, but getting past that first hump is gonna be that's when we're gonna
Mhm.
see the biggest like jump from them.
Yeah, it'll definitely test their character. I think they'll make it to the wild card. They're a talented enough team. But like you said, I don't know about the future for them because as much as Lamar's a great quarterback, you need your quarterback to be able to pass the ball. And it seems like sometimes Lamar struggles with that, especially um, more in the mid-range passing.
Yeah,
He's not very accurate.
he's not the most consistent quarterback like in terms of throwing the ball down the field. Kind of
Yeah,
relies more on his legs when he can't do that.
which is what you need. You need your quarterback to be consistent. They don't always have to be the best, but as long as they're consistent, you need them to be there for you.
Yeah, I
So,
feel like the consistency needs to lie in his throwing more than his running,
mhm.
like instead of the other way around.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, because I don't think you can win games by just running the ball. I mean, you need to air it out sometimes. So,
Exactly. And I feel like
but
it's a, like if you're good at throwing the ball, then it'll be a little easier to switch back to running every
mhm.
now and then instead of compared to when you're running the ball more, then like that gets stopped. All of a sudden you're gonna try and throw, but it's much harder to find a rhythm, trying to throw the ball, get others to catch it and stuff.
Mhm.
In big moments.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think running should be more like a counter move, like, oh, we just passed it 2 plays in a row, or like just as the quarterback in general, I just
Yeah,
passed it 2 plays in a row. How about I go for a run now? Like it seems like it's Lamar's first options. All right, QB sneak.
yeah, for real.
Let's just run it, and it seems like teams are starting to figure that out. So they got to switch it up somehow.
Yeah, and soon.
Hmm. Speaking of another very good team, we got the Chiefs at 9-1. They're playing the Buccaneers this Sunday,
Big
um,
game.
who are 7-4, and this is a battle of the quarterbacks. Obviously, we got Tom Brady,
Yeah, old goat. Well,
the
just the
old
goat
goat, and
versus
we
baby
got
goat.
Patrick Mahomes on the up and coming. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, I think Mahomes is a more talented quarterback as of right now, but whose team do you see coming out on top?
Man, every time I go against the Buccaneers, they pull out a win. So
Hmm.
it's kind of hard to go against them. But I do think the Chiefs are gonna pull this one out.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to stop Patrick Mahomes when he's in his rhythm, and they're on like a 5-6 game winning streak right now, which is pretty good rhythm for me. So I think the Chiefs are gonna come out on top. I'm gonna say 31 to 16, something like that, like around that
Okay.
range.
Yeah. I definitely have the Chiefs winning this game. The Buccaneers, I think they're a good team, but the issue with me is their consistency from Brady. I really like him. He's been great in the past. However, it just seems like as he's gotten older, his play down the stretch, he seemed to be more inconsistent, which isn't great from the quarterback position.
Yeah, for sure, I agree
So,
with that.
yeah, so I'm not sure what that means. Hopefully he still has a long future with the Buccaneers. But it always seems like there's an excuse for Brady. But this season, I'm just not seeing it. He's had all his weapons. You know, you get Mike Evans. You got Godwin. I think, didn't they pick up Antonio Brown?
Yep.
He has all these weapons. He's got a great team. So there's really no excuses to lose. They built this team for him. So I don't know. I think he should definitely be playing better, but it's still new team, so he's still adjusting. But we'll see how this game plays out.
Yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see who wins this game.
Yeah. Well, with the playoffs coming up, I think we're just gonna have to wait and see. It's getting very interesting in the NFL. I'm excited for the playoffs. So, after the break, we're gonna go to college football. Or no, we're gonna go to the NBA.
Never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back from the break. Here we are now talking about the NBA draft from last week, free agency, the Detroit Pistons, and the NBA in general. So first up, we got the Pistons. They're very active the last week and a half. You've seen them doing trades on draft day, doing a bunch of trades in free agency, acquiring a bunch of players that they think we need in this rebuild. So what do you think? Where do you got us at?
I don't think we're going to be very great this year. But I think it's good for our future that we're entering this rebuild process by getting younger, drafting people this year. We had 4 picks, so hopefully these guys will start to build the culture for the future. And I think with head coach Dwayne Casey, I think he's trying to build a culture of defense first, like he did in Toronto. And I think the players we drafted kind of suit that this year.
Yeah, we drafted a lot of big dudes, and like we have a lot of we've drafted centers, like a lot of centers, and just a lot of big bodies that will probably be able to throw at some of these like bigger guys in the conference, you know, like Giannis and stuff, Kevin Durant, etc.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Killian Hayes? You know, he was our best draft pick or our highest draft pick, however you want to say it, at number 7. So, what do you think? How do you think he'll perform rookie year?
I think he'll be okay. You know, I feel like he has the backing of a lot of these guys. He seems excited to come here to play in Detroit. He has another French fellow in Sekou Doumbouya. So it'll be pretty interesting to see. But I think, you know, he'll have a lot of support. You know, always having someone like Derrick Rose mentoring you is phenomenal. So it's definitely going to be pretty interesting to see how this season pans out. I think honestly the Pistons could cause a few surprises. Nothing crazy, but I think they could surprise a few people. If things work out the right way, maybe we could see like another Oklahoma City type scenario from last year.
Yeah, I think Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose, like you said, could be those veteran leaders that we need to help build a good team. However, I just don't see a way that we make it to the playoffs. I just don't think we have the talent yet. I think it's building, but like you said, we could shock a few people. And
I think we can make it like as one of the lower seeds.
As the lower seeds, there's a possibility, but, you know, the East is getting more and more competitive every year, especially with free agency this summer. So we'll see. I'd like to pick your brain. What's your thoughts about John Wall? There's rumors that he might want to be traded to the Pistons. What do you think about that?
That's a tough one, you know. Only because it's tough for me because we haven't seen him play in like 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
It's been a long time. Like, you don't know how he's going to come back from his injury. You don't know if he'll be good again. Like, if he'll be okay, if he'll be below average. Like, nobody knows how he's going to be. I mean, obviously, I'd love a John Wall pre-injury. Like, he would be an absolute dog to have on the Pistons, you know. And I think we'd definitely be able to at least make it to, like, maybe the second round in the playoffs with him. But now having been out for nearly 2 years.
2 years.
Like, who knows how he's gonna come back? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's not really the smartest thing to do, especially since he has a big contract. I don't think it's necessarily the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, there's no real guarantee on how well he'll play, especially without having seen him play in 2 years. And, him being a guard that relies on his athleticism in the past, his ability to beat people off the dribble and slash has mainly been due to how quick he is.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a high flyer, not like Russell Westbrook, but still he could get up. So you have a big injury. I think it was ACL, right?
I think it was ACL or Achilles, because I think he fell down the stairs or something.
But a big injury like that, you don't know how they'll come back, how bouncy they'll come back, especially, you saw with Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose had to totally change his game, get it more craftier, learn to shoot a little better. So I'm not sure what type of John Wall we'll get. It'd be interesting to see what we'd offer for him, but I don't know how much I'd want him on the Pistons.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, we got Jeremy Grant. As a Nuggets and Pistons fan, I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
As a Pistons fan, I'm ecstatic. I do feel he's a little bit overpaid, but at the same time, I am happy that he is here. But I'm upset that he left Denver, a team that was just that, within reaching distance of the NBA Finals.
Of the Finals.
Like, he left them to come to the Pistons just because he didn't want to be the third or fourth option. Because it wasn't a problem of money, because the Nuggets matched his offer. So it's kind of upsetting, that he left. But I'm excited to see what he does here as basically the main guy on this team. I'll be interested to see what he can do. He's a really good player. He's a stretch forward. He can he can defend basically any of the big guys. You saw it in the playoffs.
He can shoot pretty well.
Yeah, he's a decent shooter. He was guarding LeBron, Anthony Davis, Kawhi. Like, he wasn't scared to guard those guys. So, and Paul George. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think, I'm happy for him, and I hope that he comes and does good things here.
Yeah, that move came as a total shock to me when I heard that we were signing Jeremy Grant. I just didn't know why he would want to leave the Nuggets, given how good you guys did in the playoffs last year. It was a shocker to me.
Yeah, it was shocking to me too.
I thought he'd want to stay with you guys, but some players you can kind of see their morale, how much they value shots and play time and, just like attention, I guess, because clearly the more successful shot at winning the finals to stay with the Nuggets and keep building that culture. I think they could be good for a few years to come.
Oh, for sure.
Jamal Murray, Jokic. So
and
you
PJ.
definitely, you kind of see what type of guy he is. I don't think it's too big of a knock on him, but it still just doesn't make much sense to me.
I think that honestly, we won't see it in the regular season, but come the playoffs in crunch time against the Clippers, against the Lakers, you're gonna notice his absence.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna notice it. We're not gonna see it too much in the regular season, but if we come up against one of those top two teams, we're definitely gonna see why we miss him so much.
No, he was a solid part, definitely in the bubble. You could tell he made a big influence. He was one of those wing defenders. Those are really hard finds in the NBA. You only got a few others like Rocco, and I can't even think, maybe, I don't know. But if you can get a good 3-and-D player like that who really defends, and not to mention Jeremy Grant, he's probably 6'10", so he can guard a 3 and a 4.
Yeah.
So he's one of those
they even played him at
players.
the 5 against the Lakers a little bit.
With their small ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those multi-use players. So, as a Nuggets fan, like you said, you probably weren't too happy to see him go. But as a Pistons fan, it's kind of interesting. He's a solid player, and I hope he does well for us.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of NBA and everything, it's been a busy week in the NBA, to say the least. The Lakers made some pretty big pickups. They got Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell. After, just want to point out, Harrell said about a year ago that he'd never play for the Lakers, and look what happened. But
Yeah.
we don't speak on it. Gordon Hayward went to the Hornets, which is pretty interesting. I think the Hornets are building something pretty interesting over there with their young core.
Yeah.
If Hayward stays healthy, I think that they'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Always a big if.
exactly, it's a big if. With these guys that get injured a lot, it's always a big if, like you said. And then finally, at the top of the East, your Bucks. They're adding some
Yes,
pretty
sir.
good guys. They added Drew Holiday. They added my boy Torrey Craig. I hope that's one great player. I hope that he succeeds with the Bucks. So best of luck to him. And the Celtics added Tristan Thompson. Anything else?
Not really. Those were the big moves in free agency in the NBA that kind of caught my eye. So definitely some things to look out for. The East will be another force to be reckoned with this year. So just some players to kind of look out for.
Yeah, I think that the league's getting more and more balanced with all these free agency markets and drafts and stuff. It's looking really good for the future.
Yes, sir.
So, coming up after the break, we're gonna be talking college football, college basketball. We'll catch you right back.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back from the break. We're talking college football. Starting in the Big Ten, the Michigan are playing Penn State.
Pretty
0-5.
interesting game.
Yeah, the 0-5 Penn State and 2-3 Michigan. So it'll be interesting to see.
Michigan might actually win this week, believe it or not.
Yeah, after
even
that.
though last week they won too.
After that overtime win against Rutgers, I don't know
That's
how
so
proud I
crazy.
am to say that we only beat Rutgers in overtime.
It's so crazy.
It's been an odd year for Michigan football. I wouldn't say I'm the most happy, the most pleasant with how the season's gone, but just kind of got to take your bumps. Some programs kind of have their down years, so I guess this is one for the Wolverines.
Literally, and I mean Rutgers. Come on, since when has Rutgers ever been a challenge for Michigan and Michigan State? Let
I
alone
know.
taking them to OT or just straight up losing to them. So it's a bad year for both teams. Hopefully next year will be better.
Yeah, hopefully we can make some improvements, but
I think both teams are starting to look at basketball season now.
yeah, with college basketball coming up, both teams are looking forward to that. I think that's as a Michigan fan, I think that's our strong suit, in my opinion. We just had our game against Bowling Green where we won. Some of our freshman players, Hunter Dickinson, transfer Sean D. Brown, they were showing off their skills, so it was nice to see some basketball. I love college basketball.
Yeah, I love college basketball too. Hopefully we get March Madness this year because last year I
Hopefully.
was pretty sad that we missed out on it. But yeah, like you said, Michigan's looking off to a good start. Won by 14. Their next game's against Oakland, which should probably be a big win for them, which is
Yeah.
on Sunday. So we'll see how that pans out. And then-
Yep. Switching over to the other team inside the state, we got Michigan State. First, we'll talk about football. They host Northwestern, who's 5-0, in another Big Ten matchup,
They're
which
1
is
and 3.
interesting.
Yeah, it's,
I was saying, yeah, 1-3 Michigan State hosting 5-0 Northwestern.
yeah. They're,
I obviously think Northwestern's going to take this game. Michigan State hasn't had the greatest season with new head coach Mel Tucker. It hasn't been the smoothest transition
Not
with
quite
their
yet.
players. But, I mean, that's kind of what you got to expect with a new head coach.
Yeah, especially in college. It'll pan out if it has to, but the one season isn't going to determine if these guys are,
Oh, no. Yeah.
gonna go all the way or not.
Yeah, he's definitely still got a bright future. One season doesn't define what he's got to offer.
Yeah, and so they were off last week, like we said in the past, because of that
Due to
game.
COVID.
Yeah, because of Maryland and COVID. So
Mhm.
yeah, and then they had a pretty tough game. I mean, it's not tough when you look at it, but the Eastern dropped 67 points on them, which if you're MSU, like, you're kind of there, like, that's a lot, you know? Eastern's not the greatest team. Sorry if you go there, but, yeah, like, they're not the greatest team out, so it was a little bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah, so this was our first look at the state basketball program since last year. You had Josh Langford starting after his injuries last season. So it was interesting to see how they play. I don't know how good they're going to be this season. I haven't looked into that too much. But this wasn't really a test for them, you know, just another crappy college. So it was just, honestly, it was just a pretty easy win for State. But they do got a big game coming up. They're playing Duke on Tuesday. Duke being the number 9 team, always loaded. So that'll be like their real first test.
Yeah, that'll be their real first test. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Looking forward to it.
And lastly, just real quick, the Iron Bowl is coming up for football. Auburn, ranked 21, is going against Alabama, who's number 1. This is a big story. We got undefeated Alabama trying to solidify their playoff spot in the college football playoffs. And, you know, usually you think, the favorite team's going to win. Alabama, they're number 1. They're going to win. But it's a rivalry game.
Not in these rivalry games.
It's a rivalry game.
Exactly.
So anything could happen.
Happened last year.
I definitely look out for that. It happened the one year where they took that field goal and they returned it all the way.
Yeah, it happened. It was it might not have been last year, but it was that one year where they played Michigan in the bowl game. Auburn had beat them, so it's not every year that Alabama wins that game. So definitely tune into that game and see if Auburn can put up any type of challenge towards Alabama this season.
Yeah, it'll be a solid fight. I always love watching rivalry games, so definitely tune into that one. Unfortunately, Nick Saban might not be able to coach due to COVID. I don't think that plays too big a role, but just another side note.
Yeah, hopefully, I'm wishing for a speedy recovery for him.
Yeah, most definitely. And so, I think that just about does it for our college football segment. After the break, we're going to have our final segment talking about some soccer.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back here on Playing Out the City for our final segment on soccer. It's kind of a sad story to begin with. I don't really like being sad, but this is something that really affected not only the soccer world, but the whole sports world the other day.
Yeah, the whole sports community.
Our soccer legend Diego Maradona from Argentina passed away at the age of 60. After he had a brain surgery actually at the beginning of this month. So, just...
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Yeah, definitely rest in peace. He's been battling some issues in recent years, so you hate to see that, especially such an influential player. So,
yeah, he's considered by many one of the best players of all time.
Yeah, so condolences to
him and his family. Yeah.
Him and his family. It's got to be a rough time, but he definitely left his mark on the game.
Yeah, so rest in peace. On to another topic. Chelsea play Tottenham this weekend. It's going to be a big game in the Premier League. Chelsea doing pretty good in the Premier League, and Tottenham, current league leaders. Interesting to see who turns up in this game. Tottenham, I actually just recently watched their little documentary on Amazon. Would recommend All or Nothing Tottenham. Very interesting to see the dynamics between a soccer program and just yeah, I think this weekend Tottenham will pick up the 3 points. Last week I said they were gonna beat City. No, I said it was gonna be a draw, but they beat
Yeah, yeah.
City. So this week I'm saying Tottenham beats Chelsea 2-1. My boy Heung-Min Son about to drop a goal. That's all I know. Um, Another game happening this weekend is Valencia against Atletico Madrid. Be interesting to see who wins that game. Spain's looking a lot different this year. Real Madrid's not playing the greatest. Barcelona's not playing the greatest. So definitely Atletico Madrid's chance to pounce on that and try to win their second league title in 10 years or 5 years. No, it'd be like 6 or 7 years actually, sorry. So I think, ooh, I think Atletico wins this game 1-0 because we know how they play, um, which is a very defensive style. And then our second to last topic here for soccer is our players to watch. Um, a few players to watch this weekend, or just in general, in the games that are gonna happen. So in the Chelsea versus Tottenham game, I'm saying to watch out for Heung-Min Son, on fire this year along with Harry Kane. That attacking trio has bagged in like what 15 goals I think or 20 goals already, and the season just started a few months ago. So watch out for them. Valencia versus Atletico Madrid, I'd say look out for João Felix on Atletico Madrid, and we'll see what he can do. And then for Napoli, I'm not really sure on Napoli. Napoli has a few good attacking options. I don't know who's readily available this weekend, but I would definitely say probably watch out for like a Lorenzo Insigne or somebody like that. So yeah, and the Champions League is also going to be on this Tuesday. Make sure to turn in for match day 5. It's going to be interesting to see who wins because we're almost at the end of the group stages. There's just this match day and the one the week after, and then we'll have our teams that are going to the knockout stages. So I think 6 teams already qualified, but make sure you tune into that.
Yes, sir. Make sure to tune in Tuesday for some good soccer. Thank you for staying for the whole show if you're still here. Shout out to Bakari again, our soccer guy, for carrying the
Yes,
last
sir.
segment. But I think that wraps up our show. This is 89.1 FM, the Exile Radio. My name's Jacob.
My name's Bakari, and thanks for watching.
Have a good night.